A bump in the night, mysterious frights, smells that disturb, visuals impaired. Welcome to another episode of Cryptid Chronicles. I'm your host, Sadhu Da, as we begin to dive and explore into horrors unseen but foretold. Join me if you dare. Pontianak. The Pontianak of Malaysian lore is an exceptionally fierce type of entity that is a crossover of a vampiric wraith and a revenant. It is also referred to as Matianak, Kutilenanak, and in Bangladesh it is called Choreo or Choro. This specific type of entity is exclusively found in the eastern side of the world and is always female in nature. They are purported to be the spirits of women who died while pregnant and prominently choose male victims, but they will also attack females and children. Some origins say it's a stillborn child, but they are mistaken for another similar entity known as the Lang Sur. The origins of the Lang Sur are actually a female ghost who died in childbirth. Though similar, the two are different. Pontianak comes from the following Malay words: Buwan, woman, and Mati, die, and Anak, child. The city of Pontianak in Indonesia was named as a reminder to the vicious nature of this creature. The city was a nest for a particularly baneful one and accompanied by other Pontianaks. They appeared sometime before the settling of the city and the swampland it is settled upon, which was built in a reported haunted area. Syarif Abdurrahman Al-Qadari and his army, first Sultan of Pontianak Sultanate in 1771 through 1808, fought and banished the attacking creatures. The army used cannonballs which worked due to them being made of iron. They were said to have fled deeper into the forest and away from the city, where they still lurk to this day. In Filipino folklore, you will find a similar vampiric entity called the Tiyanak. It shares an astounding number of similarities in terms of origin with the Pontianak. The major difference is the Tiyanak is actually a ghost of the child rather than the mother. Think of terms how the Gumentong in Thai culture are created and imagine it being unrestrained and purely malevolent. The Pontianak calls forest, banana trees, and swamps as well as banyan trees its home. It's important to understand that across the world you can find many similar entities and you could call them different races under the same classification. A similar being in Western culture is the famous La Llorona of Mexican culture, and in American culture you have the Lady in White, often seen on roads and in rural areas. Even in Canada, there's an equivalent which is known as Qualapalik in Inuit traditions. A green-skinned woman with claws and long hair, elderly looking, and targets young children. They are found in caves by the shores of water and are a combination of siren, hag, and Lady in White. The Pontianak itself is usually described as having very long arms with sharp claws used to disembowel males. She will have long dark hair that covers her face. The famous movies Ju-on and The Grudge actually give accurate portrayal of appearance and behavior, minus the fact that they also have long arms, mimic the sound of crying babies, and can shape-shift into a beautiful woman and lure a man deep into the forest. With women, that are on their monthly cycle, it is not safe to go near the forest or to keep used feminine products in the trash, for they will attract the Pontianak. These beliefs are deeply held in Malay and Indonesian culture. What makes her such a vicious and frightening creature is that she drinks the blood of victims and devours their organs. It's a physical attack and not solely based in mental or spiritual assault. It is primarily predatory in nature. One of the more disturbing reports of attack is that she sucks the eyeballs out of the skull. Imagine being in a forest and hearing a baby crying, and when you go to inspect it, you come across a very ugly woman in a tattered white dress with long black hair covering her face and long claws hanging to the ground. Before you can run, her claws rip through your stomach and she feasts voraciously. May you never meet the Pontianak.